morning. My name is Greg Thomas. I'm with the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County. I'm here to conduct your annual tattoo inspection.
Sounds good.
Have you ever wondered how safe it is to get a tattoo at a tattoo establishment? If you think about it, the tattoo artist is breaking the skin to inject ink to create the body art. Well, the Florida Department of Health inspects and licenses tattoo establishments. The process you're about to see is similar to what you might find in a doctor's office or other medical facility. Greg Thomas explains.
We look for a wide variety of things. Some of it involves paperwork and record keeping, customer records, minor consent forms. There's a lot of documentation that they're required to keep. And we also are looking at their ability to set up and maintain a aseptic technique.
Here's how the process begins. The inspector asks each artist to demonstrate what they would do when preparing to create a tattoo.
First thing we're going to do is set up the area of the tools that we're going to need. We're going to have a table and an armrest for this particular tattoo, and we want to make sure we have ample lighting for the procedure as well, which is where this comes in. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to disinfect the area that we're going to be working on with a health department approved disinfectant to make sure all the area is sterile, and then we're going to cover all the areas that we're touching with a disposable barrier to make sure the area is sterile. After that, we're going to cover the bottles, we're going to set up the area, pour the pigments, and we're going to do the tattoo. Before you touch anything when you're setting up for a tattoo procedure, you want to wash your hands for the appropriate amount of time, which generally is a minimum of 20 seconds. You want to make sure that you're getting by the nails and all that good stuff in here. You can't just do a quick throw some soap on the hands and wash them off. It's not going to cut it.
The artist dries the hands and then gloves up. He covers the table with paper for an extra layer of protection. Even the medical grade pillow gets a disposable cover.
Next thing we're going to do is we're going to cover any area of any machinery or equipment that we're going to touch with what's called barrier film.
The bottles and even the electrical cords that will be used during the tattoo procedure also are covered in barrier film. This keeps them from getting contaminated during the procedure. And just in case, as an additional layer of protection, the bottles, the light, and other equipment are disinfected after the procedure. The razor, the ink wells, and the sterile needles are all disposable. They only get used once. Now, once this whole thing is set up, the artist is ready for the client.
That looked very good. I appreciate it.
Next up, the inspection of the autoclave room. That's where all of the instruments are cleaned and sterilized. Once again, the artists show the inspector what they do.
The first thing that we do is we don some gloves.
That's followed by an apron, arm guards, and a mask. This protects the artist from what could be on the tools that were used on the last client.
This is where we put our tool container. This is where we'll clean the tools. This is where we rinse the tools.
Then those tools go into the ultrasonic cleaner. That cleans them before they're placed in sterile pouches. Those pouches go into the autoclave to be sterilized for the next client. We've taken a 1-hour inspection and condensed it into just a few minutes, but rest assured, inspectors are looking for techniques that prevent the spread of disease from one client to another.
It's a really wide range. It can be everything from the floors, walls, and ceilings to paperwork showing that they've done proper testing on the autoclaves.
It takes about an hour to do an inspection for a medium-sized tattoo shop. The Department of Health inspects tattoo establishments once a year. Volusia County has more than 70 tattoo shops to check out. That number continues to grow, and it is not because people are looking for more ink on their arms and legs.
The number has drastically gone up in the last 4 or 5 years due to a huge rise in popularity of permanent makeup, and especially microblading, which is a specialized technique of applying permanent makeup where they use a hand tool and kind of mimic the hair strokes on eyebrows.
So why does the Department of Health conduct such thorough inspections of tattoo establishments? Well, it's because there are several diseases that can be spread through tattooing if it's not done properly. They include the hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C, and the HIV virus. MRSA and staph infections also can be spread here. You see, there's a lot more to this process than the artist using a clean needle.
I have a lot of people that call me and they talk to me and they tell me that they've gotten a tattoo from someone out of their home, which is not legal in Florida. You can't tattoo out of your home. And they say, well, I know it was okay because I saw him unwrap clean needles. What does happen is that you could be tattooing on a surface like a couch that can't be properly cleaned. It could be contaminated with blood or bodily fluids. You could have the machine itself have blood or bodily fluids on it and not having been cleaned properly. All the surfaces, all the inks, all of those things could be contaminated. So there's many, many other ways to transmit disease besides just reusing a needle.
If you're thinking about getting a tattoo or a piercing and want to make sure that you're going to an establishment that has been licensed by the Department of Health, here is what you look for. Tattoo establishments and piercing establishments are required to have a location license from the state of Florida. And you can look on the wall and look for the Florida Department of Health logo, and you'll know that you're in a licensed establishment. Also, tattoo artists also must have a license that looks a lot like that, and you can request a certificate from piercers to prove that they've taken the required coursework. For the Florida Department of Health right here in Volusia County, I'm Dr. Holly Smith.